Hey, welcome back everyone to Pioneer Knife and Tool. We're talking hunting knives. And I've got a soft spot for vintage hunting knives. I love them. I've always loved them since I was a kid. A lot of you are probably that way. Um, and I pulled some out, and we're going to take a look at some of the design aspects of them and the way they're constructed. Well, I'll get into that a little bit. But so I want to we'll take a look at a new acquisition that just came in the mail, and it's this original trapper up here, made by Anton Wingan Jr. This knife here, it popped up on eBay, and they had to buy it now, and free shipping. And so I snatched it up for $100. I just didn't hesitate. I was shocked that it popped up like it did. Uh, we're going to look at that knife. I've got another one, an earlier one. This knife here was made 1960 from sometime after World War II up to about 1960 is when this one was made. And in my humble opinion, the Anton Wingan original trapper like this is the finest vintage hunting knife, factory made of all time. And I'm talking, vintage, 1960 on back, when the original ones like this were made. We're going to look at it here. I'm going to share my thoughts on it. I have another one that I've had for a while that's a little earlier than this. And so let's take a look at this knife. Now, this is the sheath that it came with, and it's not the original sheath, but I'm all good with this. This is a cool sheath, and I'm going to do a little repair on this sheath. It's an old one, you can tell. It's an old sheath from the 50s. And but it came, this knife, it came with that sheath, so I wasn't going to argue about that. So let's take a look at this original trapper here. I've got it oiled up. Excuse me, really good. The stag, just amazing piece here, folks. I don't think it was ever used. Appears to have the original edge and just amazing condition for a knife that's 65 some odd years old. So I've got some ballistol and some of Warrior Works blade blubber on the knife itself, and I'm soaking it all in this stag handle. But let's talk about this particular Solingen German hunting knife. It absolutely, if you know anything about knives, you're going to, right off the bat, you're going to be able to just distinguish it. This is a full tang knife, hunting knife, pinned on bolsters here and guard with the finger grooves, and wonderful stag, and just the best carbon steel that was probably ever produced, ever came out of a German Solingen factory. Killer jimping up here, just fits the hand well. It's good size, but not gigantic. And look at this clip here and blade design. It's got the sweep for hunting. Now, the original trapper, from what I have read from sources, the original Anton Wingan Jr. Othello trappers were made prior to World War II, and I have one of them. And then probably sometime during the war, they might have stopped making them or something. And then after the war, they continued making them again. And that's what this one is here. Made sometime before 1960. But look at the stag on this show side. Now it's got the oil going in it. It's going to really pop even more. But such a quality hunting knife. It's just, to me, it's better than the Puma White Hunter. I have a Puma White Hunter from 1968, but I think the quality of this beats it out. And I'm going to give you a heads up. If you're ever thinking about snatching up one of these, there's one of them on eBay. It was on there last night, and the guy was asking $230. I think he's dropped it down to a couple hundred, but you might be able to get it for less than that. And that would be a steal. And it has the original sheath. And so just to give you a heads up, these typically don't show up on eBay, but there's a couple on there right now. One for $350 or something, and then that one for a pretty fair price. So just absolutely, in my book, the finest factory German hunting knife that was ever made. And here is my older one that's pre-World War II. And the etching's a little bit deeper. And you can just tell that it's an older knife. And when I picked this up about a year and a half ago, I was blown away. I did not know about these. But this one here is from the 30s. And from what I've read, Anton Wingan Jr., their factory produced, a lot of their knives were carried during World War II. And this trapper was a sought after knife by the German soldiers. And so now another way that I'm able to date this knife to the time period is I don't have the original sheath pulled out, but the original sheath is a really unique design, kind of a German style sheath. It's a little more of a military looking sheath. The sheath that came with this, the original sheath, is black. It's not, tan leather, and that dates it too. So you got a pre-war Anton Wingan original trapper here. And then now I have one that was made after the war, and really, really happy to have that. Just absolutely amazing knife. I don't think it was ever used. I don't know whatever happened to the original sheath, who knows? But I'm going to share with you what I'm going to do with this sheath, because it's a cool sheath. And from the 50s, it's starting to give out some stitching here and there. But let's talk about hunting knife design. Full tang hunting knife, full tang fixed blades are really a superior design for sure. Marbles came out way back in the day. Webster Marble came out with his leather stack hunting knife with the pommel with this little nut holding the pommel on. So this was a design that came out. Marbles was the first one to kind of incorporate the leather in a factory knife, and became very, very popular. It was relatively, probably fairly easy to produce. Leather didn't cost a lot of money. And it's a cool design. And a lot of your other cutlery companies came along and followed suit, like this pal right here, as you can see. So this is, and then the German hunting knives with this style of handle were just made by the millions. I've got a couple other Anton Wingan Othellos. These are old ones from the early 50s. And you can see the little split nut style that, and a lot of times it'll loosen up and these will be loose. There's tricks to tightening them up and making them so they never loosen up. I'll go into that someday. But here's another Anton Wingan. I like this one. Early 50s here. There's your Anton Wingan Moor Warrior. And I've got another small one here. I really like this one here. It's a little bird and trout from the early 50s also. I have sheaths for both of these. And it's a awesome knife. You can pick up a lot of these German hunting knives for a song and a dance, actually, when you think about it. But when you really get into a really well-made hunting knife, vintage, you're getting into something like this, or the Puma White Hunters, or a Randall. And so let's look at, I've got one more Anton Wingan right here. This one's really cool. And it has the split nut. And this is a Anton Wingan blade design. There's a few German cutleries that did this blade, interesting kind of a blade clip design. But this is a little bit step up from a knife like this with this nickel silver heavy guard like that. It's a cool knife, but honestly, you know, when you get into quality, man, you know, something like this it's as good as you're going to get for a factory vintage hunting knife. And that other one on eBay, man, if I didn't have one of these, I would be messaging the fellow and asking him, see if he'd take a little less, maybe pick it up for $150, $175 or something. But so let's look at a couple other vintage hunting knives that I think are better design. And some of the case knives are here's a case right here. Is a better design all the way. It's basically full tang, peened on pommel, much more robust design. This is what I like about the old Westerns. This is a Western here of a baby shark. And it's basically pretty much full tang. The pommel's pinned. Just a more robust, better design of a knife. Here is now this is a little bit loose here. See that? And that must be pinned on somewhere. I can't see the pin. Or it just might be pressed on, I don't know. But this is a kinfolks, an old kinfolks. But this is what I like about Western. The Western hunting knives, pretty much most of them were all pinned on pommel, which is to me a superior design for a knife. So anyway, yeah, so I'm going to share with you real quick. What a great find, folks. That is just absolutely amazing. The show sight on that stag, which is kind of cool. I mean, it is literally, I mean, these cutlers knew what they were doing when they put the show side like that. And then I actually think it's kind of cool that the other side is a little different. And, you know, and I know when these cutlers, back when this was made, probably in the mid-late 50s, that they kept that in mind. They did that on purpose. Very cool. So let's talk about sheaths here. I'm going to share with you what I'm going to do with this sheath. So a lot of times you'll get these old sheaths like this, and the stitching's starting to go, leather's starting to give out a little. This double stitch sheath, it's an old one from the 50s. And what I like to do with them to keep them going so they'll last another 30, 40, 50 years is to put a liner. Put a vinyl plastic liner in them that you won't even see once it's done, but it protects the blade, and it glues in and secures the leather for another 50 years. And so that's what I'm getting ready to do with this one here. So I made up a, this is milk carton jug material, very, very tough. And so I'm getting ready to glue it in here using this stuff here. This is what they glue Vibram soles onto mountain climber boots and hiking boots, Vibram soles. This stuff is amazing, and it dries very fast. So what I'm getting ready to do on a sheath like this, I'll use this kitchen butter knife, and I'll squeeze the glue down in there, and I'll work it in with this. And then once I get enough glue in there, then I'll slide in my insert down in here, and I always keep it short from the throat to about right there. You don't see it, but and then let it dry for a few hours. And man, I mean, this sheath is ready to go. Ready to go. So anyway, I'm getting ready to do that. It's just a little trick you can do to some of these old sheaths so you can still use them or keep them going strong. But I'm a full tang knife guy. I love old hunting knives. And these old trappers are, I should have pulled out the original sheath for this thing. It's pretty cool. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. God bless. Keep your head on a swivel and oil them joints. Stay safe, everyone.